Hi, I'm Adam C and welcome to the London Concours with a great collection of cars behind me. Today I am with Shaun Hopper and we are promoting the Custom Cup that will be taking place on the 24th and 5th of July at Lydden Hill. So Shaun has invited me here to the London Concours to see the kind of cars that we're going to expect to see at the Custom Cup. So we've got the Lotus Evija cruising past very silently. Obviously it's got quad electric motors in it, and there are various sections of cars. We've got the supercars and hypercars, we've got Porsche, we've got British, and today we'll be looking around the London Concours and later on explaining about the Custom Cup and why you should attend on the 24th and 5th of July. I'm going to be there at least on the Saturday, hopefully in my Cobra. They've got an 1/8 of a mile drag strip set up so you can have a go in the car. So let's see what we have, starting off with this Bugatti Chiron. So this is the 200 miles an hour club section. So all of these cars in this string go 200 miles an hour or more, which these days is a little less rare than it was a few years ago. So obviously, yes, we have the blue Chiron with the orange interior, complementary colours, and this LaFerrari is in a very unique shade of red. It's got a hint of orange in it. But here you go, a little Easter egg. Hybrid vehicle. Next along the line we have this gorgeous cherry red Pagani Zonda F. This one has recently been purchased and will eventually be undergoing the 760 treatment. So imagine bigger wings, canards, splitters and diffusers all over this car. It's going to be a very extreme Zonda based in the UK. Hopefully we'll see it at a lot of Goodwood events as well. Now from what I have been told, this Bugatti Veyron has been wrapped with its blue details. Apparently it used to be red and black, and then it was given the Mansory treatment in the Persang style chromed effect, and now it is back to black. So the French blue on the grille and around the side resembles that of the Chiron. A lot of Chirons come in that spec, so he's got the carbon fibre on the front as well. And the bug is next to a Lamborghini Murcielago LP640 Roadster. And beyond the Murcielago we have the Ferrari Enzo. Now when I was a kid I used to know the top speed of pretty much every single car that could go over 200 miles an hour, and there are only about maybe 20 to 30 of them then. So I used to be able to tell you, oh yes, the Murcielago LP640 could reach a top speed of 207 miles an hour, the Bugatti Veyron's 252, got the Enzo 217, something like that. Now I'm not so clued in as I was when I was a kid, just because more and more cars are reaching 200, but these are all kind of the older generation of the 200 mile an hour club, including the Lamborghini Diablo GT. And next up we have quite the duo. We have the F50 alongside the F40. This one has got its luggage, handbooks and documents all spread out in front of it on a picnic blanket like it's at a car boot sale, including a Ferrari watch on display. He is the winner of the 200 mile an hour club section of the Concours show, but it's next to this, which is also part of the section. This is the Lister Le Mans from 1990, and this with its brought out 6-litre V12 reached a top speed of exactly 200 miles an hour. And our next section is full of a lot of German whips from the 80s, 90s and noughties, starting with an Alpina B10 V8S. We've got the E30 M3 next up, and much like what Alpina do to BMWs, this one's been done up by Hardage. I don't know how to pronounce that. This is the Hardage H5, but he is alongside a more recognisable car. This is the Koenig Mercedes-Benz 560 SEC. And here we have the godfather of the whole section. This is the Mercedes-Benz 190E Evo 2. These are about 150 to 200,000 pounds now, almost similar to the Brabus that is next door. This is the Brabus wide-body 300 CE AMG, another favourite of the collectors. Next we have the Alpina B12 long wheelbase and the Audi Sport Quattro short wheelbase. I've always thought how hilarious it looks with the short wheelbase of the Sport Quattro. It almost looks like it's on the wrong chassis, but that is the classic Quattro from the homologation special from all of the rally series in the 1980s. And finally the RS2 Avant. So a lot of manufacturers in their attempt have decided to bring along Porsche 911s to display their products. There's even an electric 911. We've also got a lineup of Jaguar E-types all hustled together. We start with a lineup of lightweight Series 1s with a few Series 3 V12 Jaguar E-types, then a couple of Series 2s, and a couple of Series 1s. So we've got Series 1 Roadster, Series 1 Coupe, Series 2 Roadster, Series 2 Coupe, Series 3 Roadster, Series 3 Coupe. Oh look, Richard Hammond has just turned up, dropped off in a Mercedes in his sun hat. And talking of well-known personalities, the collection you see behind me now is owned by Harry Metcalfe. In fact, there he is over there, chatting with a gentleman about his Jaguar Project 8, purple with gold wheels. We have the Countach, we have the Lamborghini Espada, and beyond the Project 8 we have the tiny little Fiat 500L with its open sunroof, and the tiny little Lotus Elan. I just ran over this. I'm sorry guys. And whilst we have the Project 8 over there, over here we have a British Racing Green Jaguar Project 7. So the 7 based on the Jaguar F-Type and the 8 based on the Jaguar XE. And next up is the Testarossa and the Lotus Esprit Turbo. Now, talking of Esprit Turbos, there is a Lotus section over there with another Esprit Turbo. So right at the start of the Lotus section is the winner of the Concours d'Elegance. This is the Lotus 11, which is being sketched at the moment. We then have the Aurora, and that is next to the Series 1 Lotus Elise. This is a fine example, one of the best I have seen. We then have the front-wheel drive Lotus Elan next to the Turbo Esprit, and here is the Lotus Elite Series 2. This one in a bit of a John Player special livery, black with the golden pinstripe up the side, but extremely vibrant yellow interior all inside the car. But being a bit of a shooting brake, it actually has two fairly decent sized rear seats. And next along we have one of my favourites from the day so far. This is a pretty fantastic spec on the Lotus Europa, purple with the gold pinstripes. That looks beautiful. We next have another Elan. This is the Elan Sprint, the car that's inspired the Mazda MX-5 and the original Lotus 7. Actually, this is the S2, but yes, a Lotus 7. The car that, of course, inspired Caterham to produce these for years and decades onwards. We next have a British section with the TR3A right at the front and an AC Ace. So this is the car that Carroll Shelby originally shoehorned its massive 5-litre Ford V8 in, and then later flared out the arches and put in the 7-litre 427 later on. So this is the Ace with its straight-six Bristol engine that originally came out of Britain. And talking of Cobras, the Cobra to the Ace is basically the Sunbeam Tiger to the Sunbeam Alpine. So as you might have guessed, Sunbeam introduced a large V8 into the Alpines and thus created the Tiger. And next along is the Unipower GT from 1966. As you can tell from the fuel cap there, the fuel tank's in the front, it is mid-engined and based on a classic Mini Cooper. I say based on, obviously it's mid-engine, it's not front-engine anymore, but it uses Mini parts to create this, the Unipower GT. And this is one of the most beautiful cars here of the day, the Packard 426 Boat Tail from 1926. Take a look at the crafted woodwork all around to the rear boat tail of the car. We then have a Bristol 400 and a Austin Healey frog-eyed Sprite. Our next section is the Italian Berlinetta, starting off with this ISO Griffo. We next have this aluminium-bodied Ferrari 275 GTB alongside a Lancia and a Ferrari 250 GTE and a Ferrari 250 short wheelbase. This one is the winner of its class. And we next have a couple of Alfa Romeo Giuliettas. And next, the beautiful De Tomaso Mangusta with its uniquely opening rear ends displaying the Ford V8. And the final three Berlinettas are the Maserati Ghibli, the Fiat Dino, and the Lamborghini 400 GT. And I'm now in the middle of a very American custom car section. We've got the 1953 Austin A4C, we've got the 1950 Ford Custom, we've got the 1950 Mercury and the 49 Mercury next to that, along with a 1941 Ford Custom. But it is these two that I am more interested in, starting off with the Chevrolet El Camino. I love the El Camino. This 59 example had its side pipes diverted down to the rear. And then we have the 1961 Ford Thunderbird, and check out the paintwork on this. The artwork within the turquoise details, the turquoise pinstriping, and the glitter glistening in the sunshine. And the Porsches with a very early 911 Targa, a 914, a 911 Carrera RS, a 930 Turbo. Then we've got the 928 alongside the 924 Carrera GT. We We then have the 959 next to the 911 GT3 RS 4 litre. We then have the Carrera GT alongside a couple of 356s, including a Speedster. And a couple of more favourites of mine of the day are these two beautiful Bizzarinis. And being a great fan of British cars myself, we finish with the British section, one of my favourite sections of the day. So, right at the front, we start with this Morgan Aeromax. It is showing off its very front-mounted BMW V8. We then have the original Aston Martin Vanquish. And here is the light car company Rocket that many of you may remember from some of the Gran Turismo games. And the wonderful TWR Jaguar XJR 15. A car that never quite took off as much as its successor did, the XJ220, but still a very rare machine to see here today. We've also got the original two-door or three-door Range Rover next to a Series 1 E-Type Coupe. There is also a McLaren 12C Spider in Volcano Orange and the one of 77 Aston Martin 177. This one finished in dark blue, also with dark blue wheels to match, and you can see how far back the V12 is mounted by the length of the dashboard in front of you. And then we have the 1960 Austin Mini with the Rolls-Royce Phantom Coupe. And tucked around the corner is the brand new Aston Martin V12 Speedster with a twin-turbo V12 with 700 horsepower and not much of a windscreen. And boot space, you ask? Well, we have a space for a helmet here and a space for a helmet here. It's meant to be a track day car. I don't know if any of the 88 that are going to be produced will be driven on track at all, but it is quite the sight to behold. But as we venture back to where we started, can we just take time to appreciate the venue? What a space that the concourse is being held in. This is right in the centre of London, right in the business capital of the city centre. We've got apartments, offices, buildings and heritage sites all around us, and we have taken over the lawn to display the cars. And whilst I have seen all of the displays inside the field, we've got a few cars around the outside that I didn't pay any attention to that I'd like to show off now, including the hot-rodded chopped Lancia Aurelia next to the DB5 Coupe, convertible and shooting brake. Now, there's only a handful of DB5 shooting brakes ever made. One lives in London, one lives in the Isle of Wight, and here's another one here for you today. He's next to an Aston Martin DBR1, a Vanquish Zagato Roadster, a DB4 Roadster, an F12 TDF, a McLaren P1 and an Aventador SVJ. And on the Bell Sporting Classic stand, whilst it looks like a 250 GTO, this is a 330 LMB and was in Le Mans and Endurance Series, Ferrari's last hurrah with their V12 competition cars. And next door to it, you may have gotten a glimpse of this. Does this remind you of anything? Obviously, my Cobra replica is blue with white stripes with the number 88 on the side. However, this is a Lister, but even still, what a great livery. So now that we've had a look around the show, I'm here with Shaun, who gave me the tickets for the day, and he's going to tell us a bit more about the Custom Cup that will be taking place on the 24th and 5th of July. So let me know more about the event.
So yeah, it's something that I've set up at Lydden. The main thing is that it's a really local, nice track. It's not corporate, so I find it's atmospheric. For me, it's probably one of the best spectator tracks. You can see the track everywhere. So I've teamed up with Pat at Lydden, a friend of mine, and we've come up with the idea of an event called the Custom Cup. Non-prep is the first main headline, which is an eighth of a mile. It's half of Standard, and then we've got different categories. And what we're going to do is actually offer a trophy called the Custom Cup. And there's also a ton-up cup, so anyone over 100 miles an hour gets put into a bowl. On Sunday, the winner gets 100 quid. We've got live music in the evening. We've got track time available for people who are attending, so that's going to be awesome as well. There's a lot of clubs coming, and I believe you're coming down Saturday.
I hope so, yeah, that's the plan, yes. I'd like to bring the Cobra down, take part in the strip.
So hopefully we're going to get Adam to start on the start line at the 8th of a mile and actually do his commentary. I'm quite looking forward to that.
Oh, so am I, yeah. So on the 24th and the 25th of July, the Custom Cup. There are details in the description below for you to book your tickets and check out the event. But from me at the London Concours show, that was pretty much that. So thanks to Shaun for giving me the tickets to come here and have a look at some of these wonderful cars that are here on display. Check out the video's description for all the information about Shaun's event on the 24th and 25th of July. We've actually now got Richard Hammond and Harry Metcalfe chatting amongst themselves. I won't disturb. So follow me on Instagram for all the weekly updates and highlights about these meets that I go to, but for now, thanks for watching.